Building a home in the mountains usually starts with a vision of quiet pines and fresh air. But the reality of modern mountain living often collides with a violent threat: aggressive, fast-moving wildfires. For decades, the standard defense was to create what we call defensible space. You clear the trees, chop back the brush, and create a bare buffer zone around the property line to keep the flames at bay. There is a severe flaw in that strategy. When high winds drive a fire, they carry thousands of glowing embers up into the air. Those embers sail right over that cleared buffer zone and land directly on the roof of the house. Proximity to the forest is certainly a risk, but the true danger lies in the physical vulnerabilities of the house itself. This area where human development meets wild vegetation is known as the Wildland-Urban Interface, or WUI, and surviving a fire here requires a completely different approach. Enter the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code, or CWRC. This sweeping legislative update shifts the state's strategy from simply managing the land to mandating heavy structural hardening from new homes. This data table highlights the key high-risk implementation zones. Counties across southern Colorado, specifically Custer, Huerfano, Fremont, Pueblo, Chaffee, and El Paso, are directly in the path of these new rules. Starting in 2026, building a home in these zones with standard combustible materials will be strictly prohibited by law. Surviving a modern fire means treating the home like a fortress. You have to engineer the defenses directly into the blueprint before a single shovel hits the dirt. To meet CWRC specs, we treat a house like industrial machinery, breaking it into zones for mechanical upgrades. First, combustible roofs are replaced with non-combustible metal. Next, fire-resistant siding and ignition-resistant soffits deflect ambient heat, preventing the house from catching fire. As this illustration of the fire-resistant exterior shell shows, vulnerabilities also extend straight into the roof and attic. The code introduces a critical need for specialized ember-resistant venting. These new vents operate mechanically to protect the home's airflow. Fine metal meshes and specialized baffles actively choke out flying sparks before they penetrate the dark, dry environment of the attic. The exterior shell now serves as an active barrier against ember intrusion, moving beyond its traditional role of simple weatherproofing. Even with a hardened shell, a blueprint has extremely fragile barriers: the windows and glass doors. Fires emit intense radiant heat. Standard glass absorbs this rapidly, warping the frame until the pane fractures, leaving the home's interior completely exposed to flames. Looking closely at this cross-section diagram of hardened openings, the new code demands a strict fix. Builders must install tempered, dual-pane glass assemblies housed inside specialized fire-resistant framing systems. Reinforcing these structural openings is the only guaranteed way to prevent a home from cooking from the inside out as the fire passes. Moving the teardown to the underside of the property, the focus shifts to decks, porches, and attached structures. Traditional open-air wooden decks are massive liabilities. During a wind-driven fire event, the exposed framework underneath acts as a giant net, catching and holding thousands of burning embers. This diagram outlines the mandate for protected decks. Standard wood is replaced with ignition-resistant materials. Architecturally, you cannot leave the bottom exposed. Builders must construct fully enclosed systems beneath the deck to block wind-driven embers from entering the floorboards. By eliminating structural overhangs and enclosing these gaps, the home achieves a fully sealed, defensible envelope. The first major legislative milestone hits on April 1, 2026. This is when all local jurisdictions in the Wildland-Urban Interface must officially adopt the CWRC. Following the timeline down, the absolute hard cutoff arrives on July 1, 2026. After this date, full enforcement begins for all new permit applications. That makes the current phase, highlighted here at the bottom as the critical planning window, incredibly important. Submitting your project blueprints before that July 2026 cutoff is the only way to build under existing rules and avoid mandatory, expensive redesigns. This tight timeline is why you need a builder who is already ahead of the curve. Valor Development is a veteran-led Colorado construction firm that is already building beyond these upcoming code requirements. Valor utilizes industrial-grade planning. They seamlessly integrate steel building systems and ignition-resistant materials into rural property development, ensuring your home is secure from day one. Don't let the 2026 codes catch your build off guard. Contact Valor Development today to future-proof your mountain property. Build it right, build for Colorado, build with Valor.